me Sarah. Let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back. Before we get started on today's question, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for your very kind words on my very first video. It was a little nerve-wracking, as I'm sure you can believe, but you guys were so nice and kind in your thoughts, and apparently I'm adorable. Who knew? So I just wanted to say thank you, and I promise that there will be more videos forthcoming. I also wanted to give a big thank you to Cheryl Martin, who pointed out the background fan noise that was coming from the other computer in my room. I have turned it off today, so you'll have to let me know if it sounds better. So thank you for that. So let's jump right into today's question. Today's question is it okay to send a better something if you've already gone ahead and hit the send button, even though now you realize it wasn't as good as you thought it was going to be? So the answer to this is many layered, and it kind of depends on where you are in the process. So first off, let's tackle a query. Scenario 1, you sent your query and you're waiting, and you're hardly ever checking your email because you have so much self-confidence that you're sure that the offers are going to be rolling in and the agents are actually just going to be calling you rather than sending you emails. So as you're doing that and waiting for the phone calls to roll in, then you realize that maybe it wasn't as good as you thought it was going to be. If you're looking at just your actual query letter and you've gotten some more feedback from folks and realize that you could send a better query letter than the one that you sent, then I have to say no, don't resend it. Honestly, if all you're doing is tweaking a couple sentences in your query letter, that's just really, honestly, I read so many of these, I probably won't notice the difference if you send me a new one. So I feel like that's probably not worth your time, it's not worth the agent's time. If you've just tweaked the query, then I would say don't resend it. Now, if you're talking about the pages or the synopsis that go along with the query, that's a slightly different story. So let's say, for example, that you realize that your story doesn't actually start in the place that you started it. It actually starts 10 pages later. So you've got a completely different start to your story than you originally planned. I would say go ahead and reach out and resend it. The worst that can happen is the agent doesn't notice it's there and, say la vie. But there's really nothing you can do about that once you've hit the send button. Now, if you're just talking about some minor tweaks here, a change of a word here or a rearrangement of sentences, then don't resend it. Don't do that. When you're talking about a larger revision of your pages, the way that you want to send this is to send it to the original email where you sent the query the first time. Don't send it to another email box. Those email boxes are not for queries and your email is going to be deleted. Send it directly to the place you sent it the first time and add revised to whatever you had in the subject line. Don't mess with the subject line if the agent has specified put this, and this. Those are set up for very specific reasons, and not putting those things in there can mess up the email algorithms and ensure that your email doesn't get read. So go ahead and same stuff, just put revised. And then make a little note that says, I sent my query to you on X date, but realized due to feedback, a decent night's sleep, a dream vision, whatever, that my first pages are not what they should be. I have included a new submission for you with my updated pages. Thank you for your time. And then submission. That's it. Now be aware that most agents, myself included, read queries in the order that they were received. So there is a chance that an agent isn't going to see that you have this new version up there. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. There's really not a good way to make sure an agent sees this without becoming that writer. You know the writer I'm talking about? Don't be that writer. Now, let's talk partial and full manuscripts, because that's an entirely different ball of wax, isn't it? If you have sent an agent a partial or full manuscript, chances are you sent it to a different email than the one that you sent your original query. The bonus for you there is you have a more direct line to the agent who requested your material. So here's what you do. If you have a substantial revision, and keep in mind what I'm talking about here, we're not suggesting that you send a revision because you found a typo or because you realized that you needed to add more commas, but if you have a legitimate revision, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with sending me the new version. Shoot the agent a new email, again, to the same email address that you sent your partial or full manuscript request to. Let them know that you've made revisions based on alien abduction information, strange whisperings in your ear, whatever the case may be, and that you have a new version. Go ahead and attach the new version to that email in the same quantity that was originally requested. 20 pages, 50 pages, full manuscript, whatever it is. Make a note to the agents. If you've already read the first one, I understand, but here's a new one, just in case. Again, thank you for your time. End of story. You really don't need to go on and on here. Honestly, we get it. Writing is hard, and when you're in the query trenches, you're going to continuously solicit feedback. It's the nature of the beast. You're going to want to know how you can make your work better. In fact, even when your work is published and on a bookshelf, you're still going to want to wish you could make it better. It's natural to revise. So we understand that in the X many of months that you've been waiting to hear back, you may have made some revisions. As long as you're polite about it and you're not demanding, I don't see any reason why an agent wouldn't simply slide in your new information and delete the old. Really, it's not a huge deal, especially because there aren't nearly as many manuscript requests coming in as there are queries. So the amount of information we have to shuffle through is drastically reduced. There you have it. Now you know the basic guidelines for submitting new material to an agent after you've already hit the send button. The key is to stay positive and to be polite and keep low expectations. An agent may not be able to get to your new submission. They may have already read the old one, and that's just going to have to be the way that it is. Chances are they're probably not going to read the new one unless they felt like the first one had a lot of potential. But they might read it, and it could be the golden ticket that you were waiting for. So go ahead and send it. You really don't have anything to lose, and hope for the best. That's it for this week. We'll see you again next Saturday for more from Hey Sarah. Bye-bye. It's just, no. I'm not really even sure what to say about that. Just don't do that. Your email off into the nether regions. Or because you decided that the word he'll go be smartin' me should be garbity. Don't send me that revision. It's not going to make a difference. Shoot the email. This is such an unprofessional video.